Now, today is a very special day for our Her Rise guest, not only because she's here to share her story with us, but she's celebrating her wedding anniversary between herself and her husband, Omar Barnett. Now, Elvira is a best-selling author, a Hollywood-based publicist, a former public relations and branding director for Steve Harvey, and someone who has worked with some of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood. And now, with her husband, doing some work right here in Jamaica through Prospective Research Innovations. We welcome Elvira Barnett to share more. Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much, Raymond. I really appreciate it.
Good morning and welcome to Sunrise.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, we're going to start at the very beginning. Who is Elvira Guzman-Barnett?
Well, I'm a little girl from Covina, California that never thought that I would get out of my community to do something great until life presented challenges. And that's when I knew that there was something inside of me that was greater, just like everybody else has. And I decided to start pursuing working in the entertainment industry. And I'm very fortunate. I got a job with Steve Harvey at the age of 18 years old. And I started from the bottom, intern, grabbing coffees, getting people their food, just whatever had to be done, I was there. And thank God Steve Harvey had me working on his core team for 9 years. And so during that time, I was able to graduate from USC, one of the most prestigious schools in the U.S. And I started my own publicity company. And the rest, as they say, is history. I've been in the entertainment industry for 21 years now, and I'm very fortunate.
And specifically in the entertainment industry, you've been working in public relations.
Definitely. So I've done public relations, branding, marketing for people like Steve Harvey, Music Soul Child, George Wallace, Cupid, but I've also worked with big companies like Lionsgate Films or Code Black Films, and through their companies I've done publicity for films with Halle Berry and Forest Whitaker. So I will say that that little girl back in Covina would have never expected this, but like they say, we plan and God decides our future, and I'm very grateful to God.
No, in terms of, you've said it twice, that little girl from, and you speak about your native community. One of the things that we're doing with this segment is to have young girls and women see success stories that they can relate to. What outside of, well, I'm not going to say that it was all good luck. I know it was a lot of hard work. But if there was one thing that fueled your passion to sustain your drive, what would that one thing have been?
Initially, when I was 14 years old to 18 years old, which is when I started really working, I've been working in my parents' stores since I was 5. But I will say that necessity was what drove me. And I knew that once I started working with Steve Harvey at 18 years old, in the 9 years that I worked with him, I never called out sick and I never showed up late and I never left early because I needed that job. I needed to feel alive. And so I will say that initially it was necessity, but eventually it ended up being something that I truly enjoy and that I see how I'm able to bless others, and that joy fulfills me.
No, it's interesting because so many times we see persons like yourself at this part of your journey when the success is obvious. Were there ever any moments, despite being on time for work, never leaving early, was there any moment along the journey when you said, you know what, I'm packing it up, I'm going back home, this is not for me?
Almost every single day. So my parents were falsely incarcerated when I was 14 years old. And so from 14 years old until 21 years old, I was on my own. And I think that this is something that the young girls can perhaps identify with, because a lot of people who've made it, they don't share what really happened to them because they're embarrassed or they feel like someone's going to judge them. But thank God, I don't care what people think about me. I'm just in the business of helping others. But yeah, almost every single day. And I was suicidal when I was a teenager. And I'm very grateful that when I felt like I couldn't do it alone anymore, because none of us can really. I sought out a mentor because I really wanted to make it, but I just didn't know how alone. And so I don't know why, but God put it in my heart that Steve Harvey was going to be my mentor. And so I tried to get a job with him. I got a job, and I still had bad days from 18 to 21 where my parents were still incarcerated. I would go visit them whenever I can afford money to go see them. And so all of those days were tremendously hard, but all of those days also encouraged me to once again do what I had to do to make it, so that way I wouldn't end up on the streets or end up like other people. And so I will say that I'm very, very proud that the entire time that my parents were falsely incarcerated, I did sustain myself. I had a great little job, and I still went to high school. I still played sports, because all of the kids out there know that when you don't have parents at home, the worst thing is to be home to think about it. So you have to occupy your time.
Well, now your husband and yourself, you have started an entity. It's called Prospective Research Innovations. Now, each of those words could have been the title, because, I mean, talk to us about PRI.
Yes, definitely. And actually, PRI is the brainchild of my husband, Omar Barnett, and he actually started it before we actually met. And when we got together, when I seen what he was doing, which is medical research, I thought that what I was doing in Hollywood was so, to put it frank, dumb. Because I was like, I'm over here helping people sell movies when he's helping people save lives. I need to like help him in his business. And so I started doing the publicity, branding, marketing, and then we started PRI Celestial Wellness together. And that is the wellness center that we are going to be opening in Negro, Jamaica, to help chronically ill patients. So I'm very excited about that venture, and it's very fun to work with my husband. I feel like where he's great, I am really bad. And where he's not so great, I feel like I'm really good. So we really balance each other out.
Right. No, so this wellness center opens in Negril. When exactly does it open?
The date is pending, because we want to make sure that we redevelop the space up to medical standards, but we also want to make sure that we have the absolute best team. And so I'm so happy to say that in the last 6 months, we have hired, I will say, about 5 to 7 new team members that are doctors, nurses, key medical staff that are going to help, and we're really excited about that. And we've also, some of my mentors from my Hollywood life, I've told them about it, and they're also part of the journey. I can't mention their names yet, but they're fully supporting, and I can't wait to see it when this whole project is going to be ready for launch. But just wait. I'm going to invite all of your teams, you guys, to come out and see it, because it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, we'll definitely be taking you up on that invitation. Now, before we go, we're almost at the end of this segment. To that young lady, to that woman who is going through some of what you went through, which you were so brave and to share with us, what's your keystone message to them that they need to hear to know that continue, be unafraid?
I would just say that there is going to be a brighter day for you girls. You just have to keep going. Think about this that part of your life as a chapter versus your whole book.
Yeah.
And just think about it. In a book, there's always a happy ending. There's always a resolution. And you're going to have that. Just keep going and never give up. And always surround yourself with the best people who are positive, who want to see you win. And if there's anyone that is criticizing you or telling you anything negative, they've got to go.
Thank you very much, Elvira, for joining us this morning. And up next, Sydney Bartley, the only professor who has not taken the title, stops by for a quick chat. Stay with us.